Hello, hello, Chetan, Javed and all. You are able to hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Fine, fine, fine. So let us start with
Okay,
the.
sir.
We'll complete the module pool programming.
Okay, sir. Start.
So in the last class, we are discussing about the validating of the fields. So I told you validating of the fields can be done by a chain and end chain command. Correct. Now let us see how to do this chain and end chain. So this is a normal SAP screen. I'll go to this screen number 1 or 2. If you observe this screen, they have written a chain and end chain syntax here. And the same way,
Yes.
I will also write chain and end chain syntax in my program. I'll go to my screen. In process after input, I'll write like this. Here I need to mention the fields. So a group of fields I want to mention. Field I will say z test underscore student hyphen stuid comma student class, maybe correct, stu class is it. Spelling I didn't remember the field name. I need to see.
Just class, sir.
Just class.
Just class,
I'll
sir.
say.
Only ST is not there, sir.
Oh. So like that you can give 2 or 3 fields, and there is a module, write a module check input or something. You can give any name, double click on that. So this is the PAI, process after input, correct. So where
Yes,
you
sir.
are writing the code, you are writing the code in PAI, process after input. So now we are selecting this include I01. Continue. So what happened? So module check input is created. Now in this I want to write some code. Write some code means validation. For example, whatever you enter in the selection screen, if it is not there in the database table, it need to give some message, that kind of thing. Already we have done in this, correct? So I will put the same code here also. In the module check input, I will say select single star from ztest underscore student, where student ID is equal to ztest underscore student ID. That means whatever you enter in the selection screen, that will be there. The student ID will be there in this work area hyphen field name. Based on that field name, particular field name, say if you want to check the database table. If the database table has students, if size of bar is equal to 0, give a message I002 of some message group, any message group, with student found or student record found. Else give another message. So in the else case, I will give student record not found.
Yes, sir.
So this is how you can validate. So see here, actually we are testing only the student ID is there or not. Similarly, you can also check student class is there or not. Okay. So here in the below this, you can also write based on the select class, instead of gettest student hyphen student ID, you mention gettest student hyphen student class, so that you can check whether the entered student class is there in the table or not. Got it? What I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is how you need to validate the group of fields. So now I'll try to execute the program. Oh, class is not there. Huh? That student hyphen class is not there. Maybe. Let us see what is this field name.
Stu plus.
STUCLASS. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now say for example I'll enter 1 2 3 4. Then I'll press enter. See, I'll enter this 1 2 3 4. Then I'll press enter. Then cursor is going to the chain and chain. That means we have written one module, check input data. So in that module, cursor is going and it's getting the data from G student table, and it is saying student record found when you press enter. Okay, so this is how you can do the validation. If I put some more record and press enter, student record not found. Okay, so this record was not there, so it was not found. Now this is a way of validating a group of fields. Now I want to validate only one field. Say for example, I don't want to validate student student ID and student class both. I want to validate only one field. In that case, how to validate only one field? So in that case, no need to go for chain and end chain. you can simply say field name, for which field you want to validate. If I want to validate student ID, put the field name, module name. Okay, so this is how you can put it, and here also here you can add on input. Field name, module name on input. So this is the syntax to validate only one field. Now let me check the program. I'll say 1 2 3 4, press enter. So student record found. It was taking the record from the database table. I'll press once again enter. Once again it was showing the record. How many number of times I'll press enter? Those many times it will validate that particular field. If I put something else and press enter, then also it will validate. Now I have one more syntax. One more syntax is on request. So here at the end what we put? Here we have given field name, module name, on input. Instead of on input, I will give on request. So now the new syntax is on request. Let us see what is the difference between on input and on request. So now I am executing the program. I'll say 1 2 3 4, press enter. When I press enter, is it validate or not?
Yes, sir.
That means
No,
message will come or not?
Not
Message
yet,
will come. It will validate. It will come. On request also message will come. Okay. I'll press enter. Now once again I am going to press enter. For on change, how many number of times I press enter, those many number of times this message has came. That means for on input, that means on input, what happened? That means every time it's going to validate, but on request it will not validate every time. See, I'm missing enter, but message is not coming. For on request, every time message will not come. If you do some changes, that means if you put some cursor, if you put some space or something, if you do some changes on that particular field, then press enter, message will come. Okay. So if you are moving cursor in the particular field, that means if you are putting cursor in the particular field and press enter, only one time this message will come. So student record found. Again if you press enter, it will not come.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this is the difference between on input and on request. Until and unless you change the particular field, cursor will not go inside the on request module.
Okay.
Now the next thing is, I want to make a field as mandatory. For example, student ID is there. I want to make this field as mandatory. Sometimes what will happen? People without giving any student ID, they will click on display. Okay, so I want to make this field as mandatory. How to make a field as mandatory?
So using obligator command, is it
using obligatory, something like that. I'll show you how to do it. There are two ways actually. So here, go to the screen. Go to the layout. This is the first way. How to make a field as mandatory? I am showing you the first way how to make. I will also tell you the second way, programmatically how to do. Now go to the layout. Now select any one of the field which you want to make it mandatory. Now I want to make student ID as mandatory, so I'm selecting this. Go in change mode. So I'm selecting, double click on this student ID field. So here go to the program, in the attributes, go to the program. Here there is a drop down. Select this drop down and make it as required. Put this as required.
Okay.
When you put this as required, here question mark will come.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then I activate this layout. Go to the flow logic. Yeah, I think remaining everything is active now. Go to the transaction and execute. Now if you put cursor here in the student name, observe the student ID. Student ID has a tick mark, correct? So if a field is having tick mark, means that field is a mandatory. Mandatory fields means you must give that field. If you don't give that particular field, if you click on some button, then if you observe this status bar, scroll down in your screen and observe the status bar. What message you are getting? Fill in all required fields. So it's giving error message. That means without filling student ID, you cannot go ahead. So the user must give the student ID. So if the user gives the student ID, it won't say anything. Okay. So but if you don't give the student ID, that means mandatory field, it will ask, please fill all the fields. Now if you click on back button, what will happen? Can I go back?
It should go, sir.
No, we can't go back. It will say fill in the student ID. Okay, so the thing is, if you make a field as a mandatory, you cannot even go back without giving that particular field. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I give and if I click on back button, then it will go. Then it will go back. Okay, but now I don't want this kind of functionality. I want without filling, only back button or exit button or cancel button should work without filling the student ID. Correct? That should happen.
Yes, sir.
So how to make it? So how to make this back, exit or cancel button to work without this? Say now I'll go to the GUI status. We have already created a GUI status for this, correct, with 3 buttons, back, exit and cancel. So go to the GUI status, go to the function keys. So here we have given back, exit and cancel buttons. These buttons are appearing in the output, correct? Now
Yes, sir.
for the exit button, what I will do, I will double click on the exit button. Here there is a functional type is there. In the functional type, I will click on F4 help. I will say exit command. I will select this E, exit command. For exit button, I have selected functional type E. I have activated my GUI status. Okay, and then after that, I will come to my screen. In the screen flow logic, I'll write module some module name, maybe exit. This is the module name, and this is the keyword. At exit command is a keyword. So you need to write module, some name, maybe test1 or test2, some name. I have given exit here, and this is also a keyword. At exit command is a keyword. You need to give the exactly same at exit command. So whatever appears in blue color, those are keywords, correct? So you need to put the same thing exactly. So double click on that exit. So it will ask, this module is not there, shall I create? Yes, we'll create in PAI. So I'll select I01, continue. So now when somebody clicks on back button or exit button, so I'll copy this case IUCOM once again. I'll put the code in module exit. So I no need to write code for display, clear, save, etc., etc. I'll write only code for back or exit or cancel button.
Yes.
In the back, exit, cancel buttons, for which button we set type E? We set for exit, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so put exit here only. No need to put the other buttons. Now activate your program. Okay, now go to the transaction and try to execute. Now if I click on, now my student ID is a mandatory field, correct? If you click on this back button, error message is coming. It's saying fill in all required entry fields. But if I click on exit button, it will come out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is how you can make a field as a mandatory field, and you can come out of it even though if it is a mandatory. Now the next thing, how to make a field mandatory programmatically. So go to the, if you want to make a field as a mandatory, go to the PBO event. So module status 100, go to this module. Did you remember we have done something like loop at screen in the, we have done in the reporting, in the normal reporting, we done at selection screen output. Did you remember anyone at selection screen output even? So in that we have done loop at screen. So the same thing we'll do in PBO now.
Yes, sir. Active.
Yeah, correct. So here what I will do, if screen
-active.
-name. First I will check if the screen, if the field name is Z student hyphen Z student hyphen stu class. If the field name is this, then what I will do, screen hyphen mandatory means required is equal to, I'll put X,
Yes, sir.
and then modify screen. So this you should write in PBO, process before output. You need to write this logic. Oh, fine. Not x. Sorry, we need to give it as 1. What I mean to say is, here screen hyphen required is equal to x I have given. Don't give x, give 1. Screen hyphen required equal to 1. Let us see now. No, it is still not working. Probably I'll put a breakpoint there and let us see. So when it was coming first time, there is nothing. Z student ID. Okay. Screen name is,
Sir,
yeah,
the student
student
ID is
name,
student class you have written.
student class, STU class, right? Okay, it
Sir,
went actually. Let me see once again.
it should be student ID, no sir. You have written student
Which
class
one?
over there. In that name of the screen.
No. Actually, I think I want to make student class field as a mandatory. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
Mm, screen hyphen record equal to X only. STU class. Z test underscore student, correct? We have given Z student.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
that's why it's not going. Fine.
Test.
Now let us execute. it's not going. Now if you see student class, tick mark was coming, correct?
Yes, sir.
So this field is mandatory now. That means without filling the student class, you cannot go back. Even though if you fill the student number, if you click on a display button, okay, student class was, see, it was saying fill the student class, fill in all required fields. So it's asking you to fill the student class also. Okay. So if you want to come back, also you cannot come back. Only exit button will work. Fine. So that is how you can make a particular field as a mandatory field. It's through programming. So for the time being, I'll comment this code. Whenever you are going through this code, just uncomment and try to check it out. I am commenting this code.
Okay. Control is not this.
Fine. So now the next one. Next thing is calling a screen. Calling a screen from one screen to another screen. How to call a screen from one screen to another screen? For example, I have a screen 100 here. Now I want another screen. Another screen I will create. Screen number 200. Create 200. So this is second screen. I'll go to the layout. In the layout, I just want to put the text. So here I will say this is second screen. One moment. Yeah, okay. So now here I want to put some text. This is second screen. Some text I want to put. I'll activate. Go to the flow logic. So now from the screen 100, I want to call screen 200. How to call? So getting it what I'm saying? From the screen 100, I want to call the screen 200. So in the screen 100, I'll go to the status and PF status, jet test status. Some buttons and menu paths we have created, correct? In the menu here, we have already given back button, exit button, and cancel button. So now I'll go to the menu bar. In the menu bar, I'll say, I'll give something, call screen. You can put something. See here, user interface, edit, go to are there, something like that. I'm putting call screen. I'll double click on that call screen. So here I will say call screen 200, and here I will say SC200. This is a function code. This is called as a function code, and this is a function text. So now whenever user click on this call screen 200, SC200 is the function code that will be triggered. Now I'll activate. So now go to the screen 100. So here go to the module user command. So here we have written when display what will happen, when clear what will happen, when save what will happen. And similarly, I will also write when SC200 call screen 200. So this is the syntax. So that means what will happen when the user press on that particular button, 200 screen will be called out. Activate your program. Go to the transaction and now execute. Now see here call screen we have given now in the GUI status. So this was coming in this call screen 200 is there. Now it was coming. Click on this. Okay, it's saying mandatory field, so fill it and click on call screen 200. So now see this is second screen. So whatever the screen, that means second screen we have given now, that screen was coming up, second screen is coming. So this is how you can call from one screen to another screen. So now here also you can give some fields, you know how to give the layout fields and all, correct?
Yes,
You
sir.
give some jet student fields or you give some Mara table related fields here. You can write something in PI and PPO, okay? And when you click on back, what should happen? When you click on back, what should happen?
If you should go to screen number 1.
It should go
First
to
screen.
screen number 100, you mean to say, correct? There are
Yes,
two
sir.
screens, 100 and 200. When I click on back button, it should go to the screen number 100. But do you have written any code? When you click on back, go to the screen number 100, do you have written?
Sir.
No, correct?
Yes. Yes.
In the screen 100, you have written that when you click on call screen 200, go to the 200 screen. But in screen 200, you have never written, you have not written, whenever you click on the particular back button, go to the first screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go to the screen 100. So you also need to write that in screen 200. So go to SE80. So go to your screen 200 now. See 200 again have its own PBO and PI. Okay. 100
Yes.
has its own PBO and PI. Now
Yes.
first set the status for 200. That means back exit cancel buttons. First put it for 200. So this is PBO. So I will select this O01. See, if you observe for 100, what we have given, PF status Z test, correct? This is the PF status we have given for 100 screen. For 200 screen also you give it. You give Z test 1, capital letters, give something, Z test 1, double click on it. Give some short text, press enter, go to the function keys. You want back, exit and cancel buttons, so give here back, exit and cancel buttons. For the second screen you have created second PF status. Okay, so now only back, exit, cancel buttons you have created. You need to write the code for back, exit and cancel button. So go to the user command, double click on this. In the screen 200 you are doing,
Yes, sir.
click on yes. Now go to the, this is PAI, so select this, include, come here. So now again you need to write the case statement in 200. Whenever back, or exit or
Cancel.
cancel, whenever the user press on these buttons, what should happen?
Screen 100. Leave to screen 100.
Leave to leave to screen 100. Otherwise you can also say leave to screen 0. Leave to screen 0 means, the meaning is go to the previous screen. Leave to screen 0 means go to the previous screen. From 100 you are going to the 200. That means for 200 what is the previous screen?
100.
100, correct?
100.
So it will go to the 100. So now save it. Right click and activate your application. Now execute your program. So I am going here, call screen 200. Okay, click. So now what's happening here? See, system help only coming, call screen was not coming. Why?
We have not written.
We are
that.
not set for the 200 screen. This is another PF status, ZTest 1. In the ZTest 1 we have given this back, exit and cancel button. So now if you click on back button, it will go to the screen
100.
100,
Yes, sir.
coming back to 100. Okay, so if you click on exit once again, you will come back. Okay, so this is how you can navigate from one screen to another screen.
So I don't want to go on screen number 100, sir.
You don't want to?
Go screen number 100. I would want to go directly.
To
the output, that means to the normal screen, correct? Say for example, you want to go to, this is the SAP initial screen, you want to go to the SAP initial screen, is it? So user generally executes like this. He will be there here in the SAP initial screen. He will give here ztest underscore m pool. This is the transaction he will give. Then he will come here. So now call screen 200. So when I click on back here, when you click on back, you want to go to the SAP initial screen instead of going to the 100, is it? You want to come here directly. That is what you were asking, is it? Hello? Who has the doubt? Santosh,
Chetan.
Chetan, sir.
Chetan or Javed? Chetan, yeah,
Chetan.
tell me.
Okay, sir. I cleared that.
So is it okay now?
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. So with this we complete with the normal screens. That means how to create a normal screen, how to put the GUI status, how to make the screen wise required, or how to make the changes in the screen layout. So we are left with the two more screens, that is sub screens and table control. Okay, so sub screens and table control will check in tomorrow next class.
Okay.
So with this we'll stop today.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so practice it very well. So see,
Yes.
actually I have created one small application in module pool. Okay, so the application is JetBank. The transaction is JetBank. Okay, so you check this. This is a module pool application. This is something like a project kind of thing.
Yes,
Small
sir.
project using module pool. So this is your SAP banking world or something. I put something like that. So now click here to register for the net banking facility.
Okay, sir.
If you want to register for the net banking facility, click here. So click here. So this is the information we want to create a account in the bank. So fill here account holder name, father name, date of birth, account age, sex, and everything. You fill it. Okay. Once you fill this, you submit this registration form. You submit. Click on the submit button. Once you fill everything, see all these fields I make it as a mandatory. You know now how to make a field as mandatory. You know, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So all the fields I made as a mandatory, and when you click on submit, what will happen? It will update the table with your details. You know how to update a table? Open SQL statements. You know,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Update, modify, delete.
Yes,
So
sir.
I have written those statements to update a table.
Yes, sir.
Once the table is updated, what will happen? Your one user ID and password will be created for you.
Yes, sir.
So the bank admin people will tell you user ID and password.
Okay, sir.
So I forgot. Maybe I'm having some test user. Yeah. I I forgot the username or password. Let me check it out. Okay. So bank admin people can log in into this and they will approve your application. They will receive. You will submit now one application registration form. You are submitting with all your details. So
Yes,
they
sir.
will see all these details and they will approve. Once your account is approved, you will be given with a user ID and password.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So using that user ID and password, you can log in into the account.
Okay, sir.
So I will tell you this application fully in the next class. Like this is some small project we have developed. This I have done this as a small project in a module pool to show you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So let us completely learn with the module pool programming, and then I will show you this particular application.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Fine then. So we'll stop. But keep practicing this module pool.
Okay, sir.
Module pool is very easy for you to understand. Okay. This is interesting also.
Okay, sir.